Hey guys, welcome to another video. Before I start off, I want to speak about the flow of the channel a little. So I haven't made a video in like a week or two. School started, so they're going to be less scheduled than regular, sadly. I'll keep working on them in my free time, but I'm just giving a heads up. Anyways, let's get started. So this is a little bit of a weird video. I've been leveling some new characters in one of my favorite games, Guild Wars 2, which is an MMO. I'll probably do a video on it some other time. I was just thinking of ways to bring a little bit of change to the playthroughs. I wasn't really sure what to do, so I was like, what the heck? I'm going to make this game work with a controller. So yesterday and today I've been messing with the Steam controller configurator on my 360 controller to try and make Guild Wars 2 playable in more scenarios. Spoiler alert, it's actually not that bad. Guild Wars 2's simple number of abilities and combat actually makes the game very enjoyable with a controller. Using a Steam controller or even a DS4 would open more possibilities with more buttons, but I'm just surprised I was even able to make this possible, though still very happy with the results. So without further ado, here's my Guild Wars 2 controller config version 1.0. For the explanation of the controller config, I'm going to switch to a real-time commentary, so forgive me for any kind of speech errors I make. So here we are in game with one of my alternate characters in the main city of Lion's Arch. If anyone's wondering, I'm using a post-processing injector called Reshade to make the game more vibrant and add more effects work. So let's open up the Steam overlay and take a look at our setup here. So as you can see, I'm using an Xbox 360 controller, and as I said, a Steam controller or a DualShock 4 would be even better since they have trackpads for more input options. There's many extremely useful features in the Steam controller configurator, like mode shifting, radials, activators, etc. Before we look at the configuration any further though, you need to do two things before using this template. So, I'm gonna toggle my HUD back on. So, you need to go into your options. The first one will be in the just main options menu, and you need to disable double tap to evade. Otherwise, whenever you're moving, if you kind of lessen up on the analog stick and put it back all the way, then it'll count as a double tap of the arrow keys and you'll be wasting endurance. Secondly, you need to go to the control options, scroll down to the camera section, and set the toggle action camera to plus on the numpad. You can change that if you don't have a numpad, or if you just don't prefer for it to be on the numpad, if you use it also for mouse and keyboard. So first off, if we look at our template, right trigger is set to attack, which is left mouse in action cam. Left trigger, I'm sorry, did I say left trigger is attack? Right trigger is attack, left trigger is healing skill. So for the face buttons, Y is to switch weapons, X is to interact, B is to dodge roll, and A is to jump. So if I go into the menu, I can show you how I bound the face buttons to attack skills with mode shifting. So, right here I have my radial menu, mode shift, so when I hold the left bumper, it will activate these commands on the face buttons instead. I have it set as a radial so that you can actually see. Otherwise, you wouldn't really get to see the preview of which binding it is set as. So if I go into game here, you can see 2, 3, 4, 5 over there, and if it was set as a mode shift to just a numpad, you wouldn't be able to see. You just have to hit the button. So there you can see 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are my weapon skills. So use my teleport. You can use my flurry stuff. I have also done a similar thing on the D-pad. So I've also assigned profession skills to it without the mode shift, as you can see. So class skill up to 4, you can add 5. If you have like a Steam controller, you could bind all of these skills, all the main skills, 10 main skills, to one of the trackpads if you wanted to. I'm just saying if you wanted to. Then you could just reserve face buttons for your jump, for the base commands I have, and not have to worry about mode shifting as much if you wanted to. But as you can see, the D-pad's like this, but when we hold right bumper, D-pad changes to the utility skills on the right side of the skill bar. So I got my retreat, signet, can't remember what that command is, and my elite skill. So, of course, left stick is to move, of course, WASD. Also, it acts as right click. So if we go into our inventory, which I will show in a little bit, you can right click with it, of course. R3 or right stick click, that enables and disables action cam. It's a toggle, although it is a little finicky, to be sure. So one very useful thing about the Steam controller configurator is radials, as I demonstrated earlier, but there's much more potential for radials than just that. So right here, I've bound a mode shift radial to the right analog stick. So when I hold select, I can access all of my UI panels that would normally be in the top left corner. As you can see, there's little icons. So I have all the inventory, hero, trading post, social, guild, movie world, mail, etc. You can exit, but F12 is the default Steam screenshot button, so you'll take a screenshot every time if you use that, unless you change it, of course, and the options menu. So also, I have bound it so escape is in the center, so if I press and release select, it'll just hit escape. And the point of that is because to close the UI panels, you really need to hit escape or hit the UI panel button again. It's much easier to just hit escape though. So I can demonstrate, so left stick click is right click, so I can deposit these materials if I even have space, which I don't have enough space for iron, and I didn't demonstrate it. So if I press and release this, select, then it's just escape, and that'll exit the UI panel. So, that's about it for those main face buttons. So next up we have the map controls map set. So map controls, it's debatable if you need it or not, because the map controls action set just adds zoom in and zoom out buttons, and it's finicky. It's really finicky. I don't understand why it doesn't want to work, even with button cycling, which should activate the buttons in the order I select them. It's finicky, and I will explain now why. So if you're in action cam mode and you hit start to open your map, which is not in the UI radial, by the way, it will not actually enter the map action set, the map controls action set. So I'll still be doing all my moves on the ground, like you can hear, and moving when I'm in the map, and I want to have zoom in, zoom out function. So if you don't want to do that, you have to exit your action cam like that, have your mouse visible on screen, then hit start. And for some reason, it works now. Not really sure what the conflict is, but that allows you to zoom out with left trigger, zoom in with right trigger, and exit with B, which will reset back to default action set. But it doesn't want to work the other way. So, of course, you can also double click on a waypoint to teleport to it, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, that should be about it for all this stuff. Now, one thing, I'm not sure if it's even possible with the Steam controller configurator, is I would love to have it so I can have multiple mode shifts on the face buttons. So, normal buttons right there be on the face buttons, then left bumper, mode shift to weapon skills, right bumper, mode shift to utility skills. That would be the optimal configuration, and that's the configuration I really want to have, but it's not being cooperative and I can't get it to do that. So that's just another thing that I need to figure out, see if I can fix in revision 1.2 or whatever, along with the finicky action cam having a weird delay and it just wanting to switch like that. So that should be about it for this Steam controller configuration bit. So I will just return back to voiceover me. So there's my very unscripted explanation. If you'd like to use the template, you can add Guild Wars 2 as a Steam shortcut and find the template in the respective section. If you're using another controller, you will likely have to enable other controller types in the menu. But if that all doesn't work, then sadly you might just have to copy it from the video. So this was a little bit of an off-the-wall video just because I had some fun with it and I thought it was interesting. If you're looking for a new way to experience this game, then this is certainly worth a try, and it enables you to play the game in a home theater environment if that's your style. If you enjoy the content, consider liking or subscribing. Feel free to leave me feedback or dislike this video if you thought it was garbage. I'll see you guys in the next one.